What's up, HC Nation? Hey, Zack Edwards is back. Yeah, that's right. You didn't think that open heart surgery was going to keep me away. Yes, that's right. I did have open heart surgery. I actually went in. As you know, I had the flu. Then I had 3 bouts of pneumonia, all equaling probably about 2 months. And then come to find out, I went to the hospital, and automatically they told me that the bacteria that had entered my bloodstream somehow had attacked my bloodstream. So it was all over my body. This one bacteria was all over my body. But what happened was it actually started attacking my heart. And if you've heard my podcast before, you know that I've had 2 open heart surgeries. I've had one other type of surgery where they, long story short, they basically put a stent up into my heart. A stent is like a wire cage that opens up. It usually separates the valve or the artery and allows blood to pump through. Well, inside that stent was a bovine, so a cow's, jugular vein valve. So they have valves in their veins, in their arteries, up in their neck. So they took that out, they put it in the stent, and they inserted it right into my heart. So here's the heart valve where it should be pumping normally, like all of you guys. But what happens is that they cut in a pig's valve, and then later on they had that stent come in, open up. Oh, maybe we'll go from here. Open up, and a cow's jugular vein valve start pumping my blood for me. Well, this bacteria that was in my blood started attacking and started getting into the grooves of those different valves. And because of that, it started crushing that valve. So my valve started getting smaller and smaller until finally, when I get to the hospital, they're like, we can't do anything with you. Now, this is Missouri. This is one of the top hospitals for cardiology or for the heart, and they couldn't do anything. Actually, there was no doctors within the state of Missouri or Kansas that could help me. So they said, okay, we can send you to whichever hospital you want that has a background in this type of surgery. And so we had requests from the Intermountain Health, which is in Salt Lake City, Utah. We had the University of Washington, which was in Seattle. We had another clinic, I can't remember what it is, but it's one of the top cardiology clinics. And funny enough, when the hospital in Kansas City contacted them, they're like, why are you contacting us? Supposedly their Kansas City's abilities is usually better than this other hospital. So they were really surprised that they were being referred. And then the last one was the Mayo Clinic. So the first 3 took like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to respond, and they wanted me right away. They wanted me and this bacteria. I'll tell you about that bacteria in just a second. They wanted me to go over there and have the surgery at their hospital. The Mayo Clinic took 3 days. Now this bacteria, come to find out, it is I am personally one of 24 people that have ever had this bacteria attack their heart. And that's not just in the United States. That's not just in the last 10 years. That's in all recorded history. So I'm number 24 in all recorded history of people that have had this bacteria attack their heart. Now this bacteria is actually a simple bacteria that is inside your mouth. And if you get a simple cut inside on, like if you don't brush your teeth and your gums start to bleed, this bacteria would go into those gums and possibly be attacking your heart. Now here's the thing. If your immune system's high, you never have anything to worry about. If you don't have grafts or you don't have anything that's done with your heart, you usually don't have anything to worry about. It's those that have had work on their heart that have to worry about this. So basically, every time I go to the dentist or every time I go to the have any kind of something happen, illness, I have to go to the hospital and say, okay, check my heart first, because I have now 2 mechanical valves in there. Now, really quick, I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. But while I was at the Mayo Clinic, let's see, I was supposed to go in and have a certain doctor. Well, his schedule became so full because I was an emergency and they brought me in last minute that he could not fit me in. The director of cardiology, he also had a full schedule. And so the third person that was on the list, which was not on any of our lists, was actually asked to do my surgery. And he was the one that trained under the number one doctor. So I was not happy that I did not get the doctor I was promised. And then one of the doctors came in, and I'm going to keep this, there's no names or anything like that, but one of the doctors came in, and he actually started crying because he didn't think I'd actually make it through the whole surgery. And that was the talk behind the scenes, that this was such a dangerous procedure because this would have been my third open heart surgery, which means they had to cut through all of the scar tissue that was in my heart, or in my heart, but also on my rib cage, on my chest, everything. So it was so dangerous that one of the doctors started crying because he didn't think that I'd actually make it. And talking with us and seeing us face to face, and he actually told us something really, really amazing. He said his wife has not seen him cry in 15 years. So he has not shed a tear that he knows of for the last 15 years. But that day, it was the 21st, this would be the 20th, because my surgery was on the 21st of December. On the 20th was his first day crying in 15 years. Okay, so, but when that doctor came in and started telling us, even though he told us that he had, there's a possibility that I wouldn't make it through the surgery, at that point, my anger, my frustration from not having the doctor that I really wanted, because that's the one we were promised, totally went away. And at that point, I said, whatever the doctors decide. And when I decided to put my hands in God's hands and also the doctor's hands, there was no doubt I was going to survive. Now, one of my doctors came in and he said 100%, and this is my actual surgeon, came in 100%. You're going to need a pacemaker, and 100% you're going to need dialysis for the next 3 months. Dialysis is where they have to clean out your blood. And so I went in to the surgery thinking that, and when I came out, I remember the tube in my mouth. It's a breathing tube, basically. It goes down into your lungs, allows you to breathe. And they pulled that out, which was not very comfortable. And then they gave me extra air. And when I started becoming coherent, which means I started understanding what they were saying, they said, well, actually, I don't think I found out about the pacemaker or the dialysis until my surgeon came in. And he comes in with this big old smile on his face. Now, the first time I saw him, and all the times that I saw him, he was very stoic, very like, no smiles, tells you the facts, that's it, done. This was Christmas Day, though. Christmas Day is when my surgeon came in, my mouth tube had been pulled out, and I was able to talk with my surgeon. And he said I was wrong. That 100%, you would have to have dialysis and a pacemaker, completely gone. I have no pacemaker. I have no dialysis. And he was shocked. That was Christmas Day. That was one of the greatest Christmas presents I could have gotten, except the fact that I wasn't able to be there with my family. That was devastating to me. But his hands were guided, basically, from what he was saying, that he was able to do the surgery. It wasn't as complicated. It didn't have these massive complications that it could have easily had. Another interesting thing about the surgery is that when they crack open your sternum and they start working on your heart, afterwards they actually have to leave your sternum open, which is probably why it's in so much pain right now. And I'm in recovery. But they crack it open. They have this machine that opens it up, and they actually have to hold it open for 3 days. Well, mine was 3 days. Other people, it's 4, 5, 6 days, while the heart stops swelling. Because if you do any kind of surgery on your hands, there's going to be swelling on your hands. So that the heart starts to swell, and there's not room enough inside your rib cage. It basically has to make room by smashing the lungs or the stomach. So they leave it open, but they lay a cloth over top, and they're constantly checking it, constantly cleaning it, and making sure that it's safe. And after the 3 days, which was a fast one for them, they're able to close it up and then tie it with steel wire, and then sew basically stitches down my my chest. Hopefully this is not too much information. This is a lot of information, so if it is, tell me and I'll stop. But I am now in recovery, and I'm back. So I am going to be doing my podcasting or my videos again, social media. I've now been mandated basically by friends and family to stop doing as much work as I usually do. And so I'm bringing on an executive secretary. I have a writer who's doing a lot more work for me. I have ambassador coordinators who are angels. There are 2 moms that have been doing their own tournaments across the United States, and one of them has like 50 to 60 people that attend every week. So if you want to start up your own tournament, please contact us. I'll send it to the ambassador coordinators. They'll take care of the whole thing. They have instructions and everything else to help you start your own tournament in your own area. So going on, I'm in recovery for the next like 3 to 6 months. I can't pick up certain things for a certain amount of time. I can actually drive. The day before my birthday, there's an IV in my arm right now that is actually looped down and goes straight into my heart. And basically what it does, it allows me to send an antibiotic down into there to make sure that the bacteria is no longer in my bloodstream and it's no longer in my heart. So this is called a PICC line. It's the only thing left that's in there. I have the stitch marks, which is actually very irritating right now. I have the holes in my belly where the drainage came out, because when you do surgery, there's a lot of blood. There's a lot of other things that come out, and they have to watch it for a few days, what comes out of these tubes, just to make sure there's no bad things that come out. So basically, for the next few days, next few weeks, I'm going to be mostly here. But I'm planning to do my podcast. We are finishing up the Create Your Own Card Contest. That will be posted hopefully this week. All I'm waiting for is the history to be written. Yes, we received some history from the youth that sent in, or youth or adults. We have some adults that have entered this year, have entered. So, but we have to double check the history and add some to the history, because sometimes it's like one sentence. And we have to have a little more in that history area. So our historian's working on that. And basically when he's done, we're done. And we're ready to go. And we'll be posting the Create Your Own Card Contest so that you guys can actually vote on it. We don't know when that's going to be. Usually it's on the 24th of December. It will probably be when we actually count up the tallies. It's probably going to be the same time 1 month later. Sorry, it's a month late, but as you can tell, I had some other issues come up. And so people didn't have my computer, my laptops where most things are being held, or external hard drives, and I didn't have the right people in the area, because a lot of my people are remote. My ambassador coordinators are 2 to 3 states away. My writer is 2 states away. My executive secretary has not been hired yet, even though we have found her. But we weren't even talking to her. And in the last few days, we have interviewed, and we're going to be bringing her in. So there was no one actually to run it. So this time, if anything happens to me or anything happens to anyone else, we have manuals. We have contingencies, which means this won't happen again. Because now I have people behind me that, 1, care about Historical Conquest, 2, care about me, and 3, want to do a great job for you guys. So please stick with us, and we'll catch you tomorrow on a Tutorial Tuesday. Thanks again. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.